Time now for Wanna Bet. Let's get to our Big Five predictions for this week. Week 11, the Saints at the Eagles. Eagles favored by 1.5 in this game. Who do you got?
Eagles are 0-4 at home this season, but are also 1-3 against the spread in those games. So I'm going to take the Saints. I think the Eagles played well in all three phases last week, but the Saints hung tough with the Titans. If Kamara plays, it's all Saints. It's easy. If not, but I'll take the Saints.
Well, for me, I'm picking the Saints in this one as well, because when you look at what they did without Kamara, and if you take that awful pass interference, that awful roughing the passer call out of that game, I think the Saints beat the Titans, right? I mean, that took away an interception in that game. So when you look at the Eagles, they've been better on the road this season. They haven't won at home in 337 days and counting, as you said. They would have lost to Denver if it weren't for that fumble. Do you see that Teddy Bridgewater play? Oh, my God.
The effort on that play was absolutely ridiculous. He tried to kind of spin it after the game. Next day, he came clean and said, hey, look, I owe an apology to my teammates. But that was just hideous.
He made a business decision. But look, Ryan Tannehill got almost 300 yards on the road in the last game. We are expecting Kamara to return. So for me, I'm picking the Saints. I think the 1.5 points really isn't going to matter here in terms of covering. As far as the Packers, they're at the Vikings. Packers are favored by 2.5 in this one.
Got to take the Packers. Their D has been absolutely outstanding. They held Patrick Mahomes and company to 13 points. Russell Wilson, they shut him out. Everyone is talking about Aaron Rodgers and Adams and the running back tandem. Well, the running back solo now after the injury. But I just look at this. Green Bay 9-1 against the spread this year. I'm going with the Pack. I'll take the Packers over the Vikings.
Vikings, meanwhile, just 5-4 against the spread in 2021. And on the road, the Packers against the spread 6-1. So I think they're comfortable in that role as well. And as far as you look at Mike Zimmer's teams, Aaron Rodgers has just absolutely owned him, because 7-4-1 over those games, he's averaged 249 passing yards with an overall TD to interception ratio of 24-5. So certainly a lot to like. And you look at Green Bay's defense, right? I think they're improving so much. They've been outstanding of late. I think Dalvin Cook can keep this game close, but not close enough. I think the Packers are going to win the game. Meanwhile, the Colts at the Bills. Bills favored by 7.
Okay, to me, Buffalo, when I look at them, I think to myself, this is potentially, arguably, one of the better teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
Maybe the best team in the National Football League, according to some. The Colts barely got by the Jags at home. The Jags! All right, here's the other thing, too. Carson Wentz the last month has not looked good. He's looked more like the old Carson Wentz rather than the rejuvenated Carson Wentz we saw at the start of the year. I will take the Bills giving up the 7 here.
Yeah, Bills, right now their defense leads the NFL both in fewest yards allowed per game and fewest points allowed per game. I think they're going to be able to slow down Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz. I know 7 is a big number, but it's in Buffalo. It's going to be cold. You got a dome team going there. And when you look at Wentz, look, he's still managed to win. They've won 4 of their last 5, but the opponents haven't been as good, and just his performances haven't necessarily been as clean, even though he's found a way to stumble to victory. So I'm going to take the Bills here as well. We've got the Steelers at the Chargers. Chargers favored by 3.5.
Well, I'm going to throw some numbers out to you. 27th in NFL in yards per play. 26th in points per play. 28th in yards per pass attempt. 20th in red zone offense. You know who I'm talking about? The Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a team that, with a lot of handicappers and gamblers and bettors, it's living off its reputation, okay? This is a very average, if not borderline bad Pittsburgh team this year. I'll take the Chargers at home, giving up the 3.5.
Yeah, and I don't think the Chargers can continue. They've had some ordinary performances, especially in and around the bye. I don't think that's going to continue. This offense is too good, too dynamic. I think they're going to blow up and win this game convincingly at home on Sunday Night Football. Cowboys and Chiefs at Arrowhead. Chiefs favored by 2. This is a big one.
I'm abstaining from this game.
Why?
I don't know, just forget.
You can't
I like that word. I want to.
There's no abstaining.
Abstain. Cowboys 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games. Chiefs 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 home games. Here's the number that you really want to know: 54.5. I think this game has overwritten all over it. I just think this game is going to be one of those classic 42-38 games. That being said, it'll probably wind up being 13-10.
I'm going to take the Chiefs all day right now. Just the way they're playing coming out of that last game and the way they're feeling about themselves, and the fact that it's at home, and the fact that their defense is finally showing up. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen. For 3 games, they've trended in the right direction. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. You want to know why? Because you're taking the Chiefs.
There you go. We got to go opposite on
Well, here's the thing, too. Every time this year that we start buying stock into a team, what happens? You get cuffed, and all of a sudden this team just winds up playing poorly. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least if the Chiefs, after looking so good the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden, do a 180 and start back to where they were 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and the Cowboys still have that stinker against Denver from 2 weeks ago in them, so we'll see what that looks like. Let's get to your upset special.
Upset special, only 2.5 points, okay? But it's the Seahawks at home versus the Cardinals. And I know what you're going to say. Cardinals, pretty good record in Seattle, 3-2 in the last 5 years at Lumen Field, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But here's the thing. This is a must-win for the Seahawks. If they have any aspirations of getting to perhaps a wild card spot this year, they need to make hay at home. They need to win this game against a Cardinal team that's a little banged up. So I'm looking at the Seahawks thinking to myself, the urgency that they're going to play with in this game, I think they wind up winning this game.
You're going to love this one. I am picking the New York Giants on Monday Night Football to beat Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, I was really shocked at not seeing Tampa lose, but seeing them lose coming out of the bye when they've had some chances to fix some things, and that hasn't happened. Brady's still not going to get Gronk back. He's still not going to get Antonio Brown back. He's still not going to get Scotty Miller back. They don't have Sean Murphy-Bunting back yet in the secondary, and they don't have Vita Vea. Guess who the Giants have? Saquon Barkley is expected to return to the lineup this game. So that run defense, which is going to be a lot less menacing in Tampa Bay. I know it's in Tampa. It's a big number. Look, I absolutely think they're going to be able to play ball possession and keep the ball away from Brady and slow the game down and be in it that way right until the end. I think they absolutely cover, but I think they're going to go all the way and win this one.
All right. I could see it happening. I really could. I can see anything happening
this
in the
year.
National Football League
this year. Yeah. It's the height of bizarre. Let's get to fantasy. Who do you got starting?
All right, some ads. Ramondre Stevenson, running back of the Patriots. Why not? 10 touches, 100 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Damian Harris's playing time is in jeopardy even when he returns. Another pickup that I have. How about Cam Newton? Why not? I mean, the guy's going to run for a touchdown here or there, throw for one there. You know that he's going to get the bulk of the playing time moving forward. So I will wind up taking Cam. And the other thing, too, I like about Cam, he's got 3 pretty easy opponents coming up in the next month or so. All
right, I am going to take A.J. Dillon from the Packers. Now, you look at what happened, right? Because they wind up losing their starting running back. So with Aaron Jones out, season high 21 carries, 128 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dillon just became even more critical to this team. So I think he's going to have a big game. Marcus Johnson, wide receiver of the Titans. Julio Jones still out of the lineup with a hamstring injury. Johnson looks to be getting more comfortable in that number 2 role in Tennessee for now. Caught 5 of 6 targets for 100 yards and a touchdown against the Saints. And you got Houston coming up. So he's going to put up a big number. Who do you got dropped?
I'm going to drop probably Kenneth Gainwell from the Philadelphia Eagles, their running back. Rostered at 29% throughout most leagues. Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, they're the ones getting the carries as they rely on the veterans. I'm not putting too much stock in a Gainwell. See ya.
Meanwhile, I'm taking Darren Waller and sitting him down because of how he's playing right now. This guy is getting ample opportunities to catch the football, almost 22% target rate, and yet he's only had 2 games this year where he's had over 65 passing yards. This was a guy that I had a year ago. There was kind of that top 3. Who's the third tight end behind Kelsey and Kittle? It was either going to be Mark Andrews of Baltimore or it was going to be Waller in Oakland with the Raiders. And a lot of people thought it was Waller, not this year.
Well, see, that's the difference between you and I. You think vertically, I think horizontally and stuff. So, that's one of the risks. Okay, fine, dump Waller. Who are you going to pick up as a tight end, though? Who? That's the big thing. I understand you're disappointed in Waller, but I think you got to ride it out because there's nobody out there that's going to be a better pickup.